You know the deal by now, everybody. Up until the release date of May 3rd, I'm going to remind you to go over to Goodshag Productions and hit their subscribe so that you can see whenever InfoWars Part 2, The Redneck, hits the screen. There's only a few scenes left to shoot, and I've seen a rough cut of a few of them, and I can tell you that everybody is and has worked their asses off to make the best short that they possibly can, and from the little bit that I saw, it's gonna be great. So if you enjoy over-the-top, ridiculous comedies about people assuming the world is ending, then go and hit the subscribe for Goodshag Productions so that you don't miss whenever this weird whatever it is that we're making gets uploaded and you can experience it all with us. Once you do subscribe, go ahead and tell them that Woodward Reviews sent you there. Now with that quick announcement out of the way, let's get to what everybody came here for. Okay. Pet Sematary. Yeah, I don't have this big elaborate skit for this video because I mean it's Pet Sematary. Everybody knows what it is. Everybody's familiar with the story. So what do I need to say in a goofy intro? Nothing. So let's just go. Pet Sematary follows this nuclear family of a husband, wife, son, and daughter, and their cute cat as they move out of the busy city life of Boston to a quaint little house in the middle of freaking nowhere. But once it is discovered that there is ancient land where once the dead are buried there, they come back to life, their world turns upside down. And before I talk about this new one, let me go ahead and get it out of the way that no, I've never read the book, but I have seen the first film adaptation from 1989, and just like I said in my It review, I wasn't a fan of the first one. A lot of people really like it, and I can see why, but for me personally, I thought it was boring with some really bad acting from the guy who played the father. But for this new film adaptation, it's not a reboot, it's a new adaptation. Let's go ahead and get that clear. It was okay. As far as performances go, the best of them actually goes to the little girl, the daughter, because she has a lot that she has to do in this movie, and not once did I go, man, that's some bad kid acting. It was some pretty damn good kid acting, and not just, you know, oh, it's good job for a kid. No, it was good acting. She did a good job. And the father actually did so much better in this one than in the previous film, in my opinion, because the first guy just kind of said lines. This guy actually acted and somewhat emoted. There were times where it just seemed like he was like mumbling his way through the lines, but there were also times where I was like, oh, he's actually giving a performance here. There were also a couple of scenes of pretty good tension and a couple of good scares. One in particular that has to do with sounds coming from the ceiling. I don't know how I almost breezed over this, but of course John Lithgow giving a great performance as Judd. He's just, in this, he just plays the perfect old man that you just want to hang out with. Like, he's just so kind, and you immediately just fall in love with this character and how good-hearted he is. One thing I really appreciated, I don't know if it lines up with the book at all, but there's a change that they made that I think was a good idea. This was something that they needed to change, and I'm glad that they saw that and understood it, and in my opinion, it made the third act and the climax a lot better. Now, if you saw any of the trailers, though, you know exactly what this change is, because people who put trailers together are morons and thought it was a good idea to spoil it right in damn near all of the trailers. So, if you're going into this movie and you haven't seen any of the trailers, keep it that way. Please, for your own consideration, don't watch the trailers, or do your best to forget them, because they spoil it, and it pisses me off, honestly. This is by no means a perfect film, though. This is not, one of the scariest movies in years. It's definitely not. Like I said, there were a couple of scenes with good tension and scares. Other than that, it's either them trying too hard, or not hard enough, or it's just corny. Once the climax starts happening, the villain just kind of seems very slasher villainy. And I know for me to say that as a negative kind of goes against the last video I made, but this was not a slasher film, so I didn't want a slasher villain type villain. There's also the fact that, like, the first half of the movie, it's a lot of people talking, and some of the conversations they have, it's a lot of exposition, it's a lot of explaining what the characters feel and what's going on. But the way it's written, it's almost as if the writers are going, it's okay, audience. We don't want you to think too hard. We will tell you everything that is happening. We will explain this to you step by step. We don't want you to, hurt yourselves. You don't need to think it all. It's okay. And I don't like getting talked down to like that, especially in a movie that is not complicated at all, such as this one. And so, as far as a grade goes, I'm gonna have to give the 2019 Pet Sematary a C. That's 3 movies in a row that I've given a C something. It's no wonder people are starting to think that I'm too picky with movies. But have you guys seen Pet Sematary? If you have, let me know down in the comments what you thought about it. Or, what did you think about the original Pet Sematary? Or, what is your favorite Stephen King adaptation? Which is a question that is probably asked at the end of every single review for a Stephen King adapted movie. Don't forget to check out my social media. The links to all of that will be down in the description. While you're doing all of that, don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe so that I can see you guys next time.